Welcome back to Overtime with Taylor, Tanner, and man, oh man, we have a lot to talk about. College football, week 5 underway, and what a week it was. Georgia 34, Bama 41. What an instant classic that was. The best game I think I've ever witnessed. Virginia Tech and Miami on Friday. Hail Mary. What happened? We'll talk about it. Kentucky with the upset over Ole Miss. What a game. Notre Dame gets a big win against Louisville. Kansas State looking like they're back as an elite team in that Big 12. Ashton Jeanty, oh my goodness, we could have a Heisman in the group of 5 this season. And then, of course, we're going to end the episode talking about South and LSU. So let's get right into it. Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams is a guy, he isn't even from this world. He is an alien sent from the heavens, from outer space, from somewhere else that's not of this world. Did you see what he was doing out there? Ryan Williams is that guy. Ryan Williams is going to wind up being the best wide receiver Alabama has ever had. Julio Jones, no. Amari Cooper, no. Jamison Williams, no. Ryan Williams isn't going to be another one of those 3 names. Ryan Williams is going to be the first Ryan Williams. The things he was doing, his body just moves in ways that a normal human's bodies shouldn't move. This guy is an alien. I'm telling you, he is an alien. Man, but other than Ryan Williams, this Bama game was pretty good. Bama, Jalen Milroe. You know, Bama, people were saying, hey, Bama was going to run the ball. This is how they're going to win. They're just going to pound the ball down Georgia's throat. Nope, didn't happen. But you know who did pound the ball down Georgia's throat? Jalen Milroe. Milroe ran all over this Georgia defense. The running backs really didn't do that much, but Jalen Milroe was all you needed, and Milroe might be the Heisman, if not any of these other guys we'll mention later in the show. But this is Jalen Milroe's Heisman game, Heisman moment game. And man, this Bama defense is pretty good. A lot of young corners, but they bringing in Kane Womack from South Alabama. Sad he left South. You know, Kane was a good head coach for the Jags, but now he's a great defensive coordinator for Alabama. A lot of young corners, and these young corners proved to come up in big moments. Later in the game, Beck made some big throws, put the ball where other quarterbacks wouldn't put it. But man, people are hyping up Carson Beck like he's this magician. He's not. He had 50 total passes. I sure hope, I pray that if you have 50 passes, you could surpass 400 yards. But he had 3 interceptions, and that's what led to Georgia's downfall. Beck just turned the ball over. And Bama was up big at the end of the first half, but then Georgia came all the way back. A lot of people are saying, hey, this Bama defense stinks. No, man, this Bama defense doesn't stink. But when you're up that much, you've got to play a different type of defense. And Georgia's offense knew. They said, okay, Bama's going to play a lot of prevent. They're going to drop back guys. They're going to not let the deep ball beat them. So Georgia was like, all right, we're going to take what they give us. And they did. They kept taking. And then Georgia made it a close game, took the lead at the end. But then back to the main point, Ryan Williams. That guy is insane. That kid, 17 years old, Ryan Williams, is a monster, is an alien, is unlike anything I've ever seen. But yeah, Bama won 41-34. Now let's talk about a game that happened Friday night. Miami and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech got scammed. I'll lay out the situation for you. Late in the game, no timeouts, one play to win the game. Virginia Tech, receivers going deep, balls thrown in the air. Caught. Wait. No. Ruling on the field. Touchdown. Okay. Refs called it a touchdown. Let's go to the replay. Let's see what the replay has to say about it. Watching the replay. Okay, we see the ball in the receiver's hands. Okay, he's down. Okay, but once he's down, the ball then comes out and everybody's fighting for it, but he's down already. So, did he catch the ball? I think he did. Everyone, I think they did. But the refs, the call on the field was a touchdown. I don't think anyone could say, yes, he definitely caught the ball. But when the ruling on the field is a touchdown and you go back and you change that ruling and say, wait, no, it's incomplete, when there's really no evidence to support either case, so the call on the field would have to stand. So if the call on the field was incomplete and they called it incomplete, okay, if the call on the field's touchdown, call it a touchdown. But man, Miami, sure they survived Virginia Tech, but I still think Miami's going to be really good. I think Miami's set. Cam Ward is that guy. Cam Ward proved in big moments. Miami was down big, but Cam Ward put this team on his back and really just carried Miami to the victory, carried Miami to the W in this game. Auburn is cooked. That's all I got to say about Auburn. They are done. Auburn, Oklahoma. Peyton Thorne. Auburn needs a quarterback. Everyone's like, Auburn should have went into the transfer portal and get a quarterback. No, they didn't. And they should have, but they didn't. And Peyton Thorne is not the answer. I'm sorry, Auburn fans, but Thorne just isn't it. Peyton Thorne just is so turnover prone. It was a good game, and then at the end, Peyton Thorne passed, pick six, and Oklahoma wins it. Not in that fashion, but the pick six led to Oklahoma getting the W. And that is what happened, and that sucks. Stinks when that stuff happens. But Auburn just needs to get rid of those turnovers, man. And Auburn just, it's one of those seasons where you just got to take a look in the mirror and say, okay, we stink this year. We stink. But how do we build this team to be better next year? Because they have the talent. Are they one quarterback away? No. They have talent receivers. Perry Thompson, Cam Coleman, really good freshman receivers. Defense has some good guys. Running back room is really good. They just need to take a look in the mirror and be like, all right, let's reflect. And then let's try to be a better team next year. All right, still in the SEC. A lot of SEC to talk about. Kentucky beat Ole Miss 20-17. Mark Stoops looks to show everyone that he is a really, really good coach. I think this is his first time beating a top 10 team, and Ole Miss was in the top 10. This Ole Miss offense was not the offense we're used to, but then again, this Kentucky defense is really good. Look at that Georgia game last week. They stopped Georgia's offense, and look what Georgia's offense did to Alabama in this big game, an explosive game. But Kentucky's defense is able to stop that explosiveness. Kentucky, people were saying, I was saying, the only way Kentucky could win this game or could make it close, probably not win it, but look, they did win it. But the only way they could make it close is if they got to slow down the game, keep the time of possession in their favor, because that's Kentucky's brand of football now. Vandergriff isn't a guy who's going to throw the lights out, but in this game he did. He didn't throw the lights out, but hey, he's been improving game by game by game by game in passing yards and everything. But yeah, Kentucky did just that, and they ended up winning this game. Their defense put pressure on Jackson Dart. They put pressure on these wide receivers. This defense was really, really good. And Kentucky, hey, they could be one of those SEC teams who just starts upsetting all the big dogs. They already did the Ole Miss, so we'll see what Kentucky can do in the future. All right, I think that's all the SEC ball we'll talk about. Until the end, of course, we were talking about the Jaguars. They played LSU, but that's the end of the episode. But now, let's talk about Louisville. Tough loss for Louisville. Colin Lacey, former Jaguar, was back in action, played his first game, 5 receptions, 71 yards. Congrats, Colin. I'm glad you're back out there. He's a heck of a player. He's a guy who can take the top off of his defense real quick. Plays in the slot. He's fast. He's explosive. But, man, this Louisville team is really good. I'm not counting this Louisville team out of the ACC quite yet, especially with the ACC as wide open as it is, especially with Miami with that close game against Virginia Tech. If you're any other ACC team, you're probably looking at that game and you're like, hey, this ACC is wide open. Everyone's saying Miami's at the top, but hey. Louisville's still in it. They're good. Virginia Tech's still in it. And, hey, they put a fight on Miami. Florida State. What am I kidding? Not Florida State. But Louisville lost a tough one to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's defense is still really, really good. And they held this Louisville offense. It's a fun game to watch. Louisville tried to come back at the end, but just too little too late. Out-of-conference game, tough loss for Louisville, but you take these losses against good teams. Notre Dame's still a good team. They're not a terrible team by any means. You take these tough losses and you just keep building on top of it. Just build, and build until you're there in the ACC championship against a Miami or something. So, hey, never know. Kansas State, what a good team they are, you know. They played really, really good ball. You know, Kansas State, they lost big to BYU. BYU's been a really, really good team, 38-9. They bounced back against Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State was a preseason favorite to win the Big 12. They dominated Oklahoma State 42-20. They held Ollie Gordon only to 76 yards. Alan Bowman went crazy, 364 yards passing, but he threw the ball 50 times. And this goes back to my first point about Carson Beck. If you throw the ball 50 times, I hope you put up 364 yards. Heck, he should have put up more than that if you're throwing the ball 50 times. But Avery Johnson, he looked the best he ever has looked throwing the ball. 259 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He ran the ball 5 times for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. And DJ Giddens, what a breakout game for him. 187 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Edwards only had 22 yards, so he was the explosive back that this Kansas State team is supposed to be carried on. But no, lost big time. But DJ Giddens came out 187 yards and a touchdown. Big, big win for Kansas State. Now let's talk about this guy. From Boise State, the running back, Ashton Jeanty. He is him. This guy's one of the best running backs in college football. One of the best running backs I think I've seen, period. 845 yards and 13 touchdowns in 4 games. 4 games. Ashton Jeanty is that guy. Jeanty's not slowing down anytime soon. This guy's going to be a top pick in the NFL draft. He's going to be really, really good. Best running back I've seen. Potential Heisman winner. I think he should win the Heisman if he keeps up this pace. If he keeps doing this, he could break multiple records for rushing yards, multiple records for touchdowns in a season in college football. And man, I hope he does, because this kid, Ashton Jeanty, he is a really heck of a player. Really, really good. Love to watch this guy play for Boise State. And Boise State could be that group of 5 contender. They lost a close one to Oregon, but Oregon's a top 10 team. They lost it close to a top 10 team. So, hey. All right. We went quickly through a lot of things. A short episode for you guys today because we're already at the end where we're talking about the Jags, all right? South versus LSU. Gio Lopez, although the box score doesn't say much, he was 17 for 23, 173 yards and a touchdown, right? Hey, 173 yards, not what you like to see, but you're playing against LSU, who's a really, really good SEC caliber defense. So, hey, you'll take it. And listen to this. Anthony Eager, 4 receptions for 91 yards and a touchdown. What a game for the young guy. Eager, Mobile native. Beautiful, beautiful game for Eager. You love to see it. Jamal Pritchett, 3 receptions, 40 yards. Really the only 2 receivers who really did anything. But the running backs, Kentrell Bullock had 9 carries, 56 yards. Gio had 10 carries, 33 yards. Fluff had a really, really quiet game, 9 carries, 15 yards. But, man, the Jags couldn't stop Cade Durham. Seven carries rushing the ball, 128 yards and a touchdown. And look at this, receiving, Cade Durham had 3 catches, 89 yards and a touchdown. Considering everything, right? Considering the scores 42-10, the Jags lost, this defense did play pretty good. They picked off Garrett Nussheimer twice, which is pretty good for a South defense. I mean, when you get those 2 picks, you're supposed to rally back. Okay, we're going to score 17. Okay, we're going to put 24 up on them. We're going to make this game a little closer. We're going to fight at the end. But this LSU defense just didn't give anything up. There was a drive where we were driving late. We were in the red zone about to score. Gio Lopez, the quarterback, taking it up the middle, and he just got stuffed. This just shows us all that this LSU defense is not to mess around with. So the Jags took a big loss, but we play Arkansas State next week, and that could be a good game. We'll see a lot of action there. All right, that's all we have on this college football edition of Overtime with Taylor Tanner. Thank you guys for watching and enjoy the rest of the day. Remember, Thursday we got NFL with David Newland. You've been listening to Overtime with Taylor Tanner.